All right, just a quick follow-up on Dish, the video we sent out last night. Here's a daily chart. Did sneak above this area. I'll go to 5-minute candles here. I did not take a trade in Dish. Here's the reason why. Had an early high right here, I think of 1975. Then it did a bounce to, I actually have to get these off of here to get the number. Okay, bounced to 1967. Okay, so after this bounce, sold off a little bit, came back, and then when it had this little tight base here, I told everybody in the chat room I liked it if it got to 1968. In other words, above this early high, stop would go below this tight base at 1960-ish, so about 8 cents risk. But it didn't get there at the time. I'll try to show you what the chart looked like at the time. Looked like that. So I said if it gets to 1968, I'll take some. Worst case stop 1960. Instead it sold off, and then when it came back up, I told everybody that 1968 could still work, that I liked it a little bit less, so I liked it better earlier coming out of this base because it gave a tight stop. Stop would have been right here. And as you can see, 1968 worked. It ended up getting through the high of the day eventually and made it up to, I don't know, 1993. So anyone that took that, and I did not, anyone that took that could have had an okay trade. The daily chart is above all this long base now. Actually, it closed right at the high of that base, but it did peak above it. So still worth watching on Monday. But again, I never did get a trade in, and I think some of our members may have made a little bit. It wasn't a big day in any respect. I'll just show you a few that I did call. BIG here above this file. After this sell-off, get my drawing tool going here. Losing my voice a little bit. Called that as a possible long right there over the microphone and chat with a stop right there. Again, not a huge trade. PWER. If you traded at all on Friday, I know you saw this one. Gapped up near recent resistance and just kept selling. Apparently had good earnings on the gap up, or the reason for the gap up. I did call this. I played this a couple bounces. I traded this 2 or 3 times on methods that we teach. I'm not going to go into them here, but we caught a couple of these small bounces. I think another one right here and rode it up a little bit, sold. And I think there may have even, I don't know if there was one late in the day. I called 3 bounces in this thing. I made money on all 3 of them, but of course you could look at this chart and say, well, why in the heck were you trying to play it long, right? When it opened and just sold off all day. It just seemed prudent to me after that huge sell-off that we were going to get a nice bounce. We never got a big one, but because we teach defensive trading, I made money on all 3 bounce plays that I called it. And only at the end of the day, or I should say anywhere around here, is it painfully obvious that this thing isn't going to bounce much. But I'm still proud that we went long, 2 or 3 times here and made money on all of them. Normally, with a gap up like that and a huge sell-off like this, you would expect a little bit better of a bounce. But like I said, I made money on all the bounces, and sure wish I would have just shorted the open. But hindsight is 20/20, as they say. Abbott Labs late in the day. I called this over 51. Worst case stop less than a dime away, and it did end up making it big deal, right, to a little over 51.30. So I'm just trying to show you a few examples. But overall, ITT pretty much called the bottom 5 minutes right here after this sell-off as a long. I like fading these huge sell-offs because they give you a crystal clear low of day stop, and oftentimes we're pretty good at catching the low 5 minutes of the day in them. But again, I didn't have any huge trades on Friday. But I did have, I think, 6 or 7 trades, and I had 2 losers. One of them was on CRUS. I lost 1 penny a share, and the other one was on Avon, AVP, as a short right here. And then I got stopped out right here. Ended up selling off later, but just didn't time it right. So had 2 losing trades and 5 or 6 green trades, and one of my losers was a penny a share. So overall, a nice solid green day. But really nothing to brag about. So keep your eyes on Dish. Maybe hopefully this weekend we can find a better pick to send out as an actual free pick. So I'll be going through some charts on Sunday night, and maybe at least sometime this week we'll get a decent free pick based on daily candles out there for you. So all right, have a good weekend. Talk to you later.